G'day, my name's Andrew Fielke and I'm a chef based in Adelaide, South Australia, and I've been really passionate about cooking with Australian native foods and especially our amazing Australian game. Many years I've hunted as well and gathered in South Australia and fished. The ability to go out and just gather your own food is just one of the great joys of life, I think. And you are so rewarded with incredible flavour and pure quality. So the dish I'm going to do today for you is based on the classic duck à l'orange. So if you've ever been a fan of French cuisine or you've ever travelled to France, there's 100% sure I reckon you would have had duck à l'orange. So I'm going to use our amazing native black duck and cook it in a classic French style, but we're going to give it a real Aussie twist with some superb ingredients and Australian native lemon myrtle leaves. So our hero ingredient, superb native black duck, wild harvested of course, and also our other hero ingredient, beautiful fresh lemon myrtle leaves. If you could crush and smell that, it's extraordinary floral lemon citrus. Also we have ginger, chili, cinnamon, and we're going to serve with some bok choy and some polenta. So it's a real cross-cultural clash here, but it works. Step one is to brown our bird in a little bit of olive oil, or you can use just vegetable oil. So I've just preheating my pan here. A couple of dessert spoons in there. And nice and hot, but so we're just going to turn that over a few times from side to side and just brown off, caramelise the skin as best we can. One of the great things about being able to gather our own food here in South Australia is that we do have a short duck season that's really strictly controlled, but it gives you the great joy of going out and gathering your own wonderful, healthy, wild food. The duck's got some nice, just even colour onto it now. I'm going to take that off and just knock the heat back a little bit. You don't want it to be burning hot. And now it's time to put in our palm sugar. Now you can use either light or a dark palm sugar. I'm choosing to do a nice dark palm sugar, about 2 tablespoons or 2 of these little blocks. Quickly just chop that up and in we go. And now we're going to cook this caramel. So I'm just breaking up that sugar and stirring it so it cooks now to a lovely dark golden caramel. And you can see it's over a medium heat, but it's already starting to smoke with that nice hot pan. As soon as it's all an even dark caramel, we're ready to start adding the rest of the ingredients. So beautiful homegrown South Australian oranges. I'm just going to peel off some of that wonderful zest where you get all that rich oils and flavour. It's really nice if you've got a good peeler that peels off just the skin and not so much of the white pith, because that's where some of the bitterness is. So that's absolutely heaps for the dish to serve 4 people with the sauce. So I'm just going to get the juice ready to go into our duck. So that's about 2 cups worth, ready to go into the duck. As for the zest, that goes in a little bit later. I'm just going to cut that into some nice fine julienne. We put that in at the end of the sauce just before we serve to give that lovely fresh citrusy zing. So just holding those strips together, a few. Just lots of nice fine strips or julienne. So we've got this lovely bubbling dark caramel now. And it's time to throw our duck back in, give that a good old coat, toss with that lovely sticky caramel, and it's time to put our other ingredients in. A couple of cups of orange juice. Certainly I want that beautiful, unique Australian native flavour, and that is those wonderful floral citrus lemon myrtle leaves. They go in. A couple of cinnamon sticks for some lovely back notes of spice. and some lovely chilies. You can do one or two or a lot. It's up to you how hot you like it. I'm just going to split those and throw them in. So you can see there all those wonderful colours and flavours. Just turn that down to a slow simmer now. Next is a piece of ginger, about 2 centimetres or so. I'll just quickly trim that up. In that goes the ginger. This just smells incredible. Now, this duck has to cook for about 2.5 to 3 hours or so, really slow simmering with the lid on. And to make sure I've got lots of extra moisture and stock in there, I'm going to add some vegetable stock now, or chicken stock. If you can do your own duck stock, even better. But I just use, for general purposes, a chicken stock you can buy already made, or stock powder. But the bottom line is you want to start with a nice rich stock rather than water, because you're just building those wonderful flavours as the sauce concentrates down. A little taste. I just want to make sure I've got a nice, good chicken stock flavour there. Or if you want a deeper flavour, use beef stock. In that goes. So that's really it now. Lid on, and we'll do a very slow simmer and let those wonderful flavours come out of the duck into that sauce. Okay, it's been simmering for about half an hour. It's time to give it a little turn and check everything's going nicely. Oh, that's looking really good. Just a lovely slow simmer. I'll give that bird a turn and let it go. So the duck has been simmering away slowly for about 2 3/4 hours, so it should be really nice and tender. Let's have a look. Here we go. So we've got one lovely tender duck, and we've got our beautiful sauces reduced right down. So I'm going to take that out and just let it cool a little bit so I can separate the meat from the bone, and we'll reduce our sauce a little bit. Just going to get that temperature up. So ideally, this recipe is actually 2 ducks, for sauce for 4 people, so we want to reduce it down and concentrate those lovely flavours, finish off with the extra zing and tang of the orange just before we serve. Okay, so now the duck is ready to just break up. I'm just going to go in and separate out the meat from the bone. It should just come away beautifully. Break that off. Sometimes my wife doesn't like to see any of the little pin feathers on there. So if you want, you can remove the skin, because all that wonderful flavour and fat's been rendered out into the sauce. I might just tidy that up. That goes back in the sauce now. Nice and clean, with very little bone left in there. So you do that with all the meat. So you've got all the lovely little joints there now reheating in the sauce. So our duck's just started to reheat in that sauce. I'm just going to put in the generous orange zest to have that lovely burst of fresh citrus flavour. Just stir that through. And I love serving this dish with a beautiful Asian bok choy, or you can use any greens. I'm just going to pop this in some seasoned and lightly oiled water so it comes out nice and shiny. Just let that cook through very briefly. I certainly want to garnish with a lovely fresh chilli for some extra zing. And if you're lucky like me to have a lemon myrtle tree on your patio, which every home in Australia should have, by the way, some lovely fresh lemon myrtle leaves in just to serve. Right, the stage is set to serve our beautiful black duck à l'orange. Here we go. I've got my duck portions reheating in that beautiful spicy caramel glaze, a bit of extra chilli in there, a couple of fresh lemon myrtle leaves to freshen up, extra chilli for garnish because I like it a little spicy. I've just made this lovely, actually an Italian style soft polenta to serve with this dish. I really do love to mix up the cuisine styles, as long as there's good balance. So here we are. There's one leg, beautiful breast, beautiful glaze, fresh chilli there. Beautiful black duck à l'orange with lemon myrtle and ginger, and a little hint of chilli. So if you want to learn a little bit more about hunting and gathering in South Australia, please subscribe to the CHASA YouTube channel. Amazing resources there. Go wild.